If you anticipate more lack, you will weigh the risks and instead of managing them, you will avoid them. However, when you avoid risks, you also miss out on rewards. Poverty is our enemy. We'll discuss its secrets and share 3 ways to destroy it. Before we delve into the 3 secrets, let's understand what poverty is and the weapons of mass destruction that cause it. When most people talk about poverty, they think of finances and wealth. Certainly, these are areas where poverty can exist, but it's also important to recognize other forms of poverty. In another aspect of life, fitness is affected by poverty. It can manifest as poor health, wellness, or even physical and physiological issues. If our bodies aren't functioning optimally, if they're showing signs of illness or disorder, we experience coldness in fitness. Our mental health can also be a battleground against poverty. Lastly, poverty can exist in our faith. Spiritual endeavors don't necessarily mean religious beliefs or membership in an organized institution. They simply involve having purpose, pursuing it, and living a life mission that's meaningful to us. Our spiritual quest could be to be a great parent, make a significant contribution to our industry, or become a motivational speaker. Everyone has one, and this is our faith. And the reason why this is faith is because it demands our presence in the present moment, allowing us to receive that faith and progress toward our spiritual goals. When we experience financial difficulties in our faith, it signifies a lack of purpose, a sense of aimlessness, or a feeling of stagnation in our spiritual endeavors. The 4th area where poverty can manifest in our lives is within our family. So, what does that mean? You have significant individuals in your life, whether they are blood relatives or not, and your family is an important aspect of your existence. It is possible to be financially struggling while still having a loving family. This could mean that you recognize the need to enhance your family dynamics, to strengthen the relationships you have with your family members, and to foster meaningful connections and conversations. The 5th area in life where we can experience poverty is in our fellowship. Fellowship encompasses all our social connections, including our network of friends and acquaintances. It also includes individuals who may become like family to us. However, when we are poor in fellowship, it means that our social interactions may not be fulfilling. We may notice that we are putting in effort into these connections, but we are not receiving the same level of satisfaction in return. What truly matters to us, it could mean that the social connections we have changed over time. The 6th area in life where poverty can exist is in our focus. So, what does this mean? Focus refers to an area where we can engage in intellectual growth. It encompasses our mental life, where we develop our knowledge, expertise, and intellectual property. It is the area where we concentrate our energy and exert our mental effort. So, it's possible to experience poverty in your chosen field of study or pursuit. This could mean that the intellectual proof and path you're on doesn't resonate with you. Another way to experience poverty is when you feel that your knowledge in a particular domain isn't as rigid or comprehensive as you'd like it to be. The 7th area in life where poverty can exist is in your function. Your function refers to your career or professional work. For some, their function is their business, which they may have founded. Sometimes, this business aligns with their spiritual class or is closely tied to their fellowship. In other cases, it's closely linked to providing for their family. Your function can also be closely tied to your finances, health, and the poverty of your finances. It might also be your spiritual calling in the area where you have the most faith. So, you see that your function is an area where you can experience poverty as well. Being poor in your career or professional work can mean that it's unfulfilling, stagnant, or that you haven't reached your full potential. It could also mean that you desire greater opportunities but are unable to attract them. These are just a few examples of how poverty can manifest in your function. There are also weapons of mass destruction that can produce poverty in all 7 areas of life. If we possess weapons of mass destruction, the fundamental principle is that there will be weapons of mass construction. These weapons are designed to help us destroy and defeat the destructive forces. Consider the universe itself. The laws of physics, nature, and equilibrium govern everything. In life, there exists a balance of opposites. For instance, the cycle of building and destruction is essential. When we desire to overcome poverty, we must build and produce. This involves generating income, nurturing our families, and focusing on our tasks and functions. Being a productive citizen means engaging in activities that involve building and creating. However, it's crucial to understand that building cannot occur without first destroying. Think about constructing a skyscraper. Before we can build a skyscraper, we must first destroy the land beneath us. The higher the skyscraper we want to build, the greater the destruction required. Similarly, if we want to build a taller skyscraper, we need to lay a deeper foundation. This principle applies to your life as well. If you're aiming for something significant and meaningful, you must first destroy the old beliefs, operating systems, ways of being, and habits that hinder your progress. There's destruction, the death of our old selves and the awareness we once had, the death of our old selves, and into the emergence of our new selves, the person we need to become to build and be productive citizens and accumulate wealth in the 7 areas of our lives. Poverty, the opposite of poverty, is also wealth. To build wealth, we first experience poverty. It creates in us a sense of urgency to build and be productive and create wealth. You see, wealth isn't just about finances. It can be achieved in all 7 areas of life. You can be wealthy in your fitness, your faith, your family, your fellowship, your focus, and your function. However, to leverage the secret weapons of mass construction, we must first understand the boundaries of the pairs of opposites. One of the biggest reasons individuals fail to harness these powerful tools is due to the mindset of scarcity. When we have a scarcity mindset, we focus so much on what we lack that we forget that lack can only exist in our expectations. If we expect more lack, we weigh the risks and instead of managing them, we avoid them. By avoiding risks, we also avoid the rewards. Remember, risk and reward are in balance. To receive meaningful and important rewards, we need to set goals that can serve as rewards, such as the mission or the completion of the mission. We must take risks that lie beyond the pairs of opposites of the reward. Another balance of opposites is lack and abundance. If all we see is lack, we overlook the abundance around us and focus solely on our lack. Lack and abundance coexist simultaneously in our lives. It depends on which one we choose to focus on. Risk and reward also coexist simultaneously in our lives. It depends on which one we choose to focus on. So, let's delve into the 3 secret weapons of mass construction to defeat and destroy poverty in your life. Focusing on the first weapon, your mindset. Your mindset accounts for a whopping 90% of your thoughts, actions, and responses. Now, let's define mindset. Many leadership gurus talk about mindset, but what exactly is it? Is it your beliefs, your thoughts, your actions, your feelings? Well, it encompasses all of those. But when we think of mindset, it simply refers to the set of beliefs and thoughts your mind holds. Imagine your house as a thermostat. You set the thermostat at a specific temperature, and depending on that temperature, the temperature of your home fluctuates. If it falls below, the thermostat kicks in and turns on the heat. If it rises above, it activates the air conditioner and cools it down. Your mind works similarly. When your mind is set to a certain mindset, it influences 90% of your thoughts, actions, body responses, behaviors, and perceptions. Just as the house temperature is affected by the thermostat setting, your mindset shapes your perspective on life. Your mindset is the invisible mental architecture that determines the opportunities you see and the actions you dare to take. It's a powerful tool for mass construction, helping you destroy poverty. The first step in harnessing the power of mindset is to recognize what your mind is set to. Once you understand your mindset, you can shape it to create a more positive and empowering perspective. Imagine standing at an intersection, a busy intersection with 2 intersecting streets and 4 corners of sidewalks. This intersection represents your perspective on life. If you stand tall and confident, you will see the world from a different angle. You will notice the opportunities and possibilities that others might miss. You will take bold actions and embrace challenges with courage. So, let's embrace our mindset as a weapon of mass construction, transforming our lives and breaking the cycle of poverty. If there were a car accident in the middle of an intersection, and 4 pedestrians were standing at each corner, the police would interview each of them and ask, "Did you witness the car accident?" Wouldn't you agree that you'd get 4 different perspectives? Why? Because the location from which they observed the accident is different. So, your perspective depends on the place you stand, the place in your mind, and your mindset. If your perspective is the place you stand while observing, your perception is what you see from that perspective. When you see things from your perspective, that influences your practice. So, perspective leads to perception, which leads to practice. Your practice is what you do based on what you see. Now, wouldn't you agree that your behavior changes based on what you see through your perception? Depending on where you stand, if you see something positive, you behave a certain way. If you see something you perceive as negative, you behave differently, and so on. So, that's why your mindset, based on what you're set to in the moment while studying, creates a perception, which in turn creates your practice. Depending on your mindset, you will see certain things and not others. So, if what you see from your perspective is more negative, lacking, disadvantageous, or bad, can you see how that directly influences your practice? Will you act based on what you perceive? But the law of the universe says it's not possible for things to be one-sided. Why? Because physics principles say there's a lot of action and reaction. There's an equal and opposite force. Everything has an equal and opposite force. But here's the thing, we perceive the world differently. We see one perspective more than another, and it's impossible for the universe to be one-sided. Let me explain it simply. Is it possible to eat only one side of a piece of bread? Is it possible for a coin to have only one side? Is it possible for you to be one-sided? Or are you more dynamic as an individual? Now, let's delve deeper. Is it possible for a single event in your life to be one-sided? What depends on what you focus on, and when you focus on expands. What you focus on becomes the perspective from which you view the world, creating your perception and what you see. This influences your actions and decisions, as well as what you choose not to do. How do you perceive yourself? Are you seeing things happening to you, or do you see things happening for you? Are you seeing a lot of scarcity, or do you see the abundance amidst your challenges? It's not important that things are one-sided. So, this isn't a secret weapon of mass construction number 1. Let's talk about the second weapon of mass construction, your skill set. You transition from your mindset to your skill set. Your skill set is a powerful weapon because it's the one thing you have complete control over. Your skill set. Now, pay attention. I didn't say skill. I said skill set. Skill set means more than one skill. When you've acquired more than one skill and truly mastered it, your skill set mastery becomes crucial. The word mastery means the ability to execute an activity effortlessly with limited mental resources. When you've mastered something, it becomes second nature. You do it effortlessly, compared to when you could only achieve it with your greatest effort. Eventually, when you master a skill, it becomes effortless to produce that outcome. If you have a skill set, it comprises multiple skills that work together, and this skill set becomes your capital asset, and it's crucial because there's a lot of talk in the corporate landscape about upskilling and upskilling. So, what is upskilling? Upskilling involves building skill sets around what's important. If you want to grow in your career path, job level, influence, or become an industry architect, there's a threshold beyond which technical skills become less important. When you were an individual contributor, hired to perform specific tasks and follow technical processes, technical skills were essential. However, as you aspire to become an industry architect or influential leader, technical skills become less relevant. The upskill, the skill set, becomes everything non-technical. This is what we're discussing. The skills you possess in managing yourself, managing your governance, leading yourself, empowering others, exuding diplomacy and executive presence, navigating complex conversations, presenting effectively, and sharing insights in a way that people can understand are all non-technical skills that are important to include in your skill set. Many people are trying to compensate for their lack of substance by simply talking more, which is not what obsessionalism was all about. There's a lot of talk about developing communication skills, which involves presenting and speaking more in meetings. However, it's not just about talking more. It's about being able to do more and walk the talk, not just talk the talk. Being clear and concise in your communication is crucial, but it's also about becoming the person you want to be and having the influence you desire. It's about developing character and carrying out your mission, not just talking about it. So, what skills are important for you to develop to reach your job level or achieve your mission? It's important to understand that your skill set is the second weapon of mass construction, and it's crucial to figure out what skills you need. By understanding your goals and desired outcomes for your professional trajectory, you can identify the skills that will help you achieve them. If you're listening to this and you're serious about building your skill set, I invite you to work with me. I have a deep dive into what these skills need to be and the mindset you need to have to overcome poverty and break the cycle of struggle. I've created a 30-minute training on this topic, and if you want more in-depth training, you can find the description and link below. So, let's move on to the third secret weapon of mass construction, skill set. The third weapon of NAS construction is your toolset. Your toolset consists of the tools you have to achieve your mission and run the race ahead. Tools are crucial because you need to find leverage. As an individual in an industry or organization, finding leverage is vital for achieving a significant mission. Archimedes famously said, If you give me a liver long enough, a fulcrum to place that liver on, and a ground solid enough to stand on, I can move the whole world. Perhaps you're listening to this and feel a calling in your career to make a difference in the world. You want to use your skills, knowledge, and expertise to move the world forward. If that's the case, you need to find leverage and build a toolset that can be your lever. You need a strong team to set that lever upon and a solid foundation to stand on so that you can achieve your goal. So, what are you willing to do? Who is the team around you who will help you build and set that leverage? Once you have the toolset and leverage, you can move the world and end poverty in your life. Let's summarize our discussion today. When it comes to poverty in your life, we often think about wealth, but poverty can manifest in various forms. Your first step is to identify where you're experiencing poverty and how committed you are to eliminating it. Of all the years in your life when you're experiencing poverty, which one is the most crucial for you to end it? How does your life reflect this? For each aspect of your life, you need to develop the tools and skills the mind suggests you should have. What are these skills and tools? It's possible that when you make the decision to end poverty, you may not have the mindset or the tools yet, but will you seek the help you need to develop these? Will you get the support to understand the mindset and skills required? Remember, life and time are precious. Poverty is hindering your pursuit of your important mission and purpose in life. Is it worth the effort?